Well, I don't even know what I should say about this next topic, but maybe I'll take a break.
To gather your thoughts?
I'll gather my thoughts. I guess you've guessed what the next topic is. Yeah. What do you say? I don't know.
I mean, there's a story in the paper.
I know. There's a story in the paper about Artie. And I'm so upset about the story that, you know, I was actually hoping it wouldn't come out.
Yeah. And we were, you know, we had a couple of days of grace.
I thought we were out of the woods with that. I thought that basically, I actually was kind of impressed that, you know, Artie's family has said all along this is a family matter. And we're not going to talk about Artie's situation. And I was glad they said that. And then I was even more sort of surprised, remarkably surprised and glad that Artie's situation has been kept quiet.
Well, I was shocked because, as I said, there are so many of these outlets now. There's internet places, there's all of the TV shows that people, and the tabloids themselves, and somehow or other, they're always hunting for information.
Yeah, and I really would love to know who the scumbag is who releases that information to the press, you know, who sneakily finds something out and then tells the press, because this really is a private matter and something that has got me so distressed and so upset and so just bewildered. I don't even know what to think. I'm angry about it. I'm sad about it. I'm just all over the place emotionally about this whole thing. You know, I've been working with Artie, as we all have, for what, 9 years or so. Okay, so I don't know. I'm pissed off that the story got out there. Pissed off at the shithead who had him. You know, who maybe got paid $10 to tip off. You know, Page 6.
Yeah, what do you get out of that, really?
And honestly, I don't know what to say about this story because. It's such a mind-boggling thing that's gone down that, you know, I don't even want to in any kind of way say the wrong thing or I think the word is exacerbate the situation. It's just I don't even, this is a family matter. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I work with Artie. I love Artie. I said to people the other day, you know, just remember how great Artie is and what a wonderful guy he is. You know, he's got a good heart, Artie. And I know everybody has their demons. I've said this many times. Everyone has their demons. Everyone. Except Fred. Everyone has their demons. I think Fred is a demon. He doesn't have one. He is one. Everyone has their demons, and including myself. But he's wrestling with some serious stuff, Artie.
Well, really right now his demons are getting the better.
They are. They are. And I only wish him well. And I hesitate to even, like, read the story, but I guess it's out there.
Well, people can read it for themselves. I mean, I don't think that...
I just feel weird about it. I don't know what to do or what to say, or not that there's anything to do. It's a terrible position
to be in.
It is.
Because it leaves you... You know, we were talking about someone else's plight the other day. And, you know, surely the family isn't ready to come on the air and talk about it.
Right.
You know, and that's the situation we're in. There's no way we could talk about this rationally or have some perspective on it because it's too close.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know what to do. By reading the story, is it a bad thing? I don't know. I guess it's out there. It's going to be all over the place.
It wouldn't matter one way or the other because it is out there. Right. And it'll be, you know, once it appears there, it will be picked up by all of the other services.
Well, then maybe we should comment because, quite frankly, everyone else is going to be commenting.
Well, yeah, no, I can't imagine what they'll be saying. Yeah, I'm sure it's our fault.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, it's not, but it's the Howard Stern show. Right.
Well, all right, well, here we go. Page 6, Stern's sidekick in suicide try. Troubled comic Artie Lang landed in the hospital. You know, I just feel sick about this. I don't even want to
that's why I said I don't think you should read it.
I'm sorry.
If people see it, they see it.
Yeah.
How it would be like the Johnsons coming on to talk about their daughter.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I don't know what to do in this situation. There's nothing to do. But Artie's demons run deeper than I ever knew. And...
well, I mean, nobody knows. I don't know how deep your demons run. Yeah. I'm not in your head.
Right. But...
you can only go by what people tell you.
I knew what was going on, and when I went on that Stern fan network...
and saw those...
and people were just bad-mouthing Artie all over the place and talking about... you know, basically, he's a hack, he's no talent. And it was just one negative comment after another. It just made me sick because I knew what was going on with Artie. And I just got really affected. That's when I said, you know, you could make a list of all the great things Artie contributed to this show. And you could sit there and have a laugh riot. Just to all the little off-the-cuff comments and also some of the stories he told and just all the things he's been a part of.
Characters he created, those impressions, the dialogue he'll add to, you know, any situation.
You know, Artie, the reason that I hired Artie is because right away from day one, the day I met him with Norm Macdonald introduced me to him on the show. Norm brought him in with me, you know, into the show to be interviewed. And I really didn't know Artie's work. I was not a fan of the show he did, Mad TV. And I certainly didn't know him. But he came in, and he was a fan of the show, so he knew the show. And he started to tell some stories, and kind of in a very charming way, he would reluctantly tell his story. You know, you'd have to drag it out of him a little bit.
Right. Norm sort of threw him under the bus.
Right. He'd say, hey, Artie, tell him when you did all that coke and you know, when you were supposed to do the movie. And he'd be like, oh, I didn't want to say that. And then he'd go into, and he'd start to say stuff. And then after Norm would leave, I'd say to myself, gee, I love Norm, but boy, where's that guy Artie? I mean, like, when are we going to get him back in? And then Norm showed up again, I think, with Artie. And it was great. It was great fun. And when Jackie was gone from the show, and I started to have certain people sit in the chair, the guy I kept thinking about was Artie. You know, every time he was around. And Artie was one of those guys who would sit in the chair, and he didn't feel like he had to be on every 2 seconds. And at first, I didn't even know what to do with Artie. You know, at first, when we brought him into the show, I thought that maybe, like Jackie, I'd say to Artie, well, why don't you write a few lines or something, you know, because that was Jackie's primary function. He would sit there and write a line or go into a writing session with us and write. And Artie wouldn't do that. That's not Artie's thing. Artie said, I don't know how to do that. That's not my thing. And so he would kind of sit there and every once in a while chime in. And what was so charming about it was he knew instinctively not to rain on the chemistry or the way Robin and I communicate. He fit himself in a way that wasn't obtrusive, which is by no means easy. And he didn't always wait for me to direct conversation to him. And I don't want this to sound like a eulogy. Artie's alive, by the way. It was a suicide attempt. But the reason Artie was so great is that he fit into the show and didn't get in the way, only contributed when he knew he had something important to say or something funny to say, which is by no means easy.
Yeah, I remember, you know, like we would sometimes just, in a passing comment, you know, because we were having a lot of different people sit in. And we were like, boy, Artie's incredible. Artie's really fun to work with.
Yeah. Fun guy.
He fits in.
Yeah. And so I really had great... you know, I just had great admiration for Artie's talent and the way he fit into the show. And again, like Robin or Fred, I never had to sit with Artie and explain to him how the show worked. I never had to sit there and say, Artie, here's your role, and this is what I want you to do. Because once you have to do that, then the guy's not right for the show. You got to kind of...
And almost everybody else who sat in that chair, they usually needed some kind of guidance.
Yeah. You know, I think the only other guy I could think of at that time that would have worked in that chair that I even considered was Jimmy Kimmel. You know, but Jimmy, of course, had his TV show going and all that. But Artie fit the bill from day one. And Artie actually had it with Hollywood. He was not good going off to Hollywood. He just said, I want to live in Jersey, be near my mother and sister, be near all my friends. And the job made sense to him. You know, he wasn't interested in living in L.A. anymore. And I got lucky. I was the lucky one because he said, okay, I'll agree to do it. And I was like, oh, great, because this makes my life easier when you got a guy with that much talent and that much sort of intuitive ability to understand you. It's rare. You know, and people have said to me from time to time when they would, these guys on Stern Fan Network who were making these horrible comments about Artie over and over and over again, and I know it represents a very small part of the audience, but they were just making these comments, and I said, boy, how easily people forget how difficult it is to incorporate someone into a show and not to destroy the chemistry, but to make it great, and all the great Artie moments and all that stuff. And, you know, through it all, thick and thin, I've always tried to maintain my loyalty to Artie, and at times it's very trying.